You can see here that it starts with a smooth, soft transition from the light into the shadow, and then as her cheek turns and recedes into space, it gets darker and darker. Finally, at the bottom, there's this harsh transition between the darkest part of the shadow and the illuminated neck, and this is a crisp edge of a cast shadow. So at the top, there's a form shadow, which begins soft and gets darker and darker, and then it ends with a cast shadow, which is hard. So when it comes time to paint this shape of value, you've got two things. You've got a soft edge and a hard edge. So which type of brush do you use? Well, I like to actually use a soft brush. So here I'll paint underneath the tracing I've made, and I'll select a simple shadow value. And I'll start painting with a big, soft, round brush, getting darker and darker as it recedes down the cheek. But then I want that sharp, cast shadow edge. And since the soft, round brush won't work for this, I'm going to switch to the eraser tool with a hard, round eraser and carve back out that cast shadow edge. You could also use a mask for this if you wanted. That could give you a little more control. So there you see I've given the shadow its two basic components, the soft form shadow where it begins and the hard cast shadow where it ends. So here I'll take the same principle and zoom in a little bit more and do the eyeball. So I'll begin by the shadow cast by the brow ridge. It starts with a soft form shadow at the top, gets darker and darker as it goes deeper into the eye cavity, and then it ends with a sharp cast shadow. So I'll use the hard eraser and erase out that bottom bit. And then to protect this, I'll make a new layer, and then I'll do the eyelid. So it wells up underneath this fold of skin, and then has a hard edge for the eyelid. And you can continue in this manner, making a new layer, putting in the soft edge, and then erasing out the hard edge, and render your entire form this way. So I've jumped ahead a bit here and finished out the drawing, but you can see the same principle applies to big and small forms. So let's look at the shadow cast by the nose. You can see it starts with a soft form shadow and ends with that hard cast shadow.